Good afternoon. My name is Christopher Hill. I'm running for United States House of Representatives, 10th District of Georgia. The Declaration of Independence was the promise. The Constitution was the fulfillment. Now that's what I want to talk to you today about, the Constitution and the right to bear arms. See, gun control contributed to the American Revolution. In 1774, we had import on gunpowder in America, which contributed to the American Revolution. In 1774 to 1775, confiscation by the British. They were telling the colonialists to turn over their firearms. They could no longer assemble with their firearms, and those things were deemed illegal. So about 3,000 patriots gathered in defiance of these regulations, and they showed up with their firearms to protest against these quote unquote gun control measures that were taking place on American soil. The British retreated. Fast forward 239 years. Alright, we have the last American lead smelting plant being shut down by EPA regulations. That means that you will not be able to produce any lead or produce any ammunition in America. The only way you'll be able to get ammunition going forward is going to be through importing it. And if you don't think that's a problem, then just try to buy some ammunition from Canada today. You can't. And to extend on that same premise, what do you think the UN Small Arms Treaty ban is going to do with regards to importing ammunition or lead or ammunition that you need for your firearms? I think it's going to greatly impair your ability to purchase ammunition going forward. So the thing you have to be concerned with is that right now the UN Small Arms Treaty ban has not passed the House of Senate. We are a signatory to that treaty, which means we have to take steps to implement it while ratification is pending. And what will it take for that treaty to get ratified? It'll take a majority of the House and the Senate. You may think, well, the liberals don't control the majority of the House, it'll never happen. Well, think again. These last anti-gun measures that come up for the House and the Senate, they were denied, or the motion failed by a margin of like 4 to 6 votes. So if we lose the House and the Senate at any point, I feel confident that they'll put up this treaty and they'll push for its ratification. So we have to stop it. We have to put people in the House and in the Senate to stand up for the Second Amendment and not allow this thing to pass. Many people in Georgia think that the pendulum isn't going to swing too much in regards to gun control. They think that a lot of people think that in Georgia you're safe from the tentacles of government, whereas states like California, New York, those states are succumbing to gun control measures. And here in Georgia we have, what's coming to light. A lot of these Bloomberg mayors, anti-gun mayors, are taking up office here in Georgia, and they're ready to push their anti-gun agenda. You'll see this, early in 2014, and it's going to be a reoccurring theme. It's going to be, an agenda that they push rigorously going forward. So in Georgia, you're not. This isn't a sanctuary for the anti-gun movement. It's here and it's growing, and it's our duty to stop it. It is a constitutional right to bear arms. Now, Going back to the example earlier where those 3,000 patriots, during the American Revolution stood up against the British and said, you're not going to confiscate our guns, and you can ban our gunpowder, by extension our ammunition, and we're going to let you know how we feel about it. We don't like it. So they took up arms, and they made their feelings known. So only recently in Georgia has the right to public gathering been ratified. That restriction has been removed. So people are allowed to they have the right to peaceful assembly, and most recently people in Georgia have the right to bear arms and peacefully assemble, which is a step in the right direction. Just this last weekend I took part in a protest down in Valdosta, Georgia, and during that protest the people were addressing their grievances. They had a legal permit to do so. Issues like Benghazi, issues like the arming of terrorists in Syria, issues like a lot of issues that people have concerns about. People have a lot of concerns, rightfully so, and those people are being pushed around. Even though these people in Valdosta had a legal permit and were redressing their grievances, the local Georgia Department of Transportation, the police department told these people they need to just move along. And the people say, well, you have the right to do this. We don't even need a permit, but we'll get a permit if that's what you require. And they said, not good enough. You need to move. Well, some of us people, some of my friends, in fact, went down there to support these peaceful protesters, and we do open carry to defend the rights of peaceful protesters. It makes a statement. It makes a very loud statement, and the statement I'm trying to make when I do this is that you have the right to redress grievances. You have the right to peaceful protest. You have freedom of speech. You can go out there and say anything you want to, whether it be, I don't want the government spying on me, I don't want the government to take my possession without due process. You have a voice, and we're going to use the Second Amendment to defend your freedom of expression, your freedom of speech, and your right to redress grievances with the government. You have a voice, and we're going to put teeth behind your message. We're going to make sure that you don't get pushed around. And we were willing, we didn't get arrested, but we almost got arrested. We were within a baby's breath of being arrested because the police officer on duty did not know that the restriction prohibiting peaceful assembly with firearms is outdated. And we appealed to him time and time again to research the section and give us the code by which he intended to arrest us under. And the code that he gave us had to do with firearms are not allowed in churches, government buildings, or bars where a sign is posted. Has nothing to do with the right to peaceful protest. But the point I'm making is that if you don't know your rights, you will get pushed around. And it shouldn't be like that. Everybody should know, our rights should be common knowledge, and we shouldn't be tested or pressed when we're exercising our rights. So that's why I'm running for Congress, and part of my platform is to make sure that the right to bear arms is not infringed upon, and the right to peaceful assembly is not infringed upon. We must exercise these rights if we're going to remain independent. The government's not allowed to spy on us, but do they? We're not allowed, or they're not allowed to search without a warrant, but do they? They're not allowed to search without a warrant upon, unless probable cause. But the NDAA suggests that they do have the power to search you without probable cause. They do have the power to spy on you without your consent. Do you have the right to remain silent anymore? Do you? I don't think so. Supreme Court just recently ruled that your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent is an admission of guilt, unless you explicitly say, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Well, I mean, if you're going to say anything, you know, that would be the one thing to say. But the point is, you don't have to say it. You can remain silent, and it is not an admission of guilt. So the point I would like to make is invoke all of your constitutional rights. Be aware of them and exercise them, or you're going to lose them. You know, we see these actions that our government is currently taking as unconstitutional. I feel they're unconstitutional. I call on the government to cease and desist all unconstitutional action and activity. I invoke the Constitution and the power that it gives to the state. I want limited government. And brothers and sisters, you have to know we are masters of the Constitution. The left and the right, you know, let them all acknowledge we're going to stand our ground, and we're going to defend our liberty. I trust the people are ready to take these steps. All right, so we have being the person, you know, who's been asked to convey this message to Washington. I need your help to take steps to effectuate the change that we want to see in our government. And by watching this video, you're taking the first step. You know, you are here as a free person, you know, and as a free person, we have God-given rights, and we don't need to ask permission from anybody to do anything, such as, for example, is it my right to raise my hand? Did I have to ask permission to raise my hands? I don't have to ask permission to raise my hands. It's a natural law, and these natural laws and these rights that we have should not be confused with permissions. These permissions or anything that the government gives you, just be advised that they can't be taken away. Whatever the government gives, the government can take away. Just keep that in mind. But they didn't give us the right to bear arms. God gave us that right. They can't be taken away. So I would ask you, you know, have faith in God and ask for His protection, and hang on to your firearms to protect yourself. Hang on to your Constitution, because it is a promise. You know, blood was spilt to fulfill that promise. And I'm not going to dishonor any of the Marines who came before me, or any of the children, future generations who follow us, by simply not doing anything, especially in the face of such inequity. I'm my brother's keeper. You know, and I trust that you feel the same way. And again, my name is Christopher Hill, and I'm running for United States House of Representatives in Georgia, because I trust the people. Thank you.